Thank you, Deb. Can we have a round of applause for Deb and the beautiful music that she plays and channels for us? It is such a blessing to have you here, Deb. I am Stevie Lang, and this is Unity Center of Des Moines. I am so happy to see all the smiling faces in front of me, and maybe you're joining us online for the first time. If you are new here, just know that as you came in, there's little packets that say Unity, and there's a little daily word. If you would like to take one, help yourself. They're there for you. There are also free hug buttons. So if you don't have one and you feel moved to pick up one of those, you can wear it out in the community and just share a little love and hugs that way. Unity Center of Des Moines is a radiating center of the divine light. And we're going to get to that statement of faith later. I just started talking about it. I don't know where that came from. Maybe because it's been an affirmation that I've been saying basically in every spare moment, like almost a continual prayer. But let me circle back to what I'm supposed to say right now, which is that we are a diverse community that is committed to supporting a positive spiritual path. We welcome you just as you are and acknowledge and honor that each person is on their own unique spiritual journey. You can learn more about Unity Center of Des Moines and the Unity Movement at our website, unitydesmoines.com. We love to begin with song, and if I'm not mistaken, this is not second. Oh, the second one is okay. Never mind. Stay tuned. There's some original music today. I'm very excited. Okay, so the lyrics will be up on screen, and Susan Kellogg and Deb Jennings will lead us in song. love you. Thank you. We are one with the one right now. Don't have to wait till later. It's already here. All right, announcements. Let's start with celebrations. I can start warming the, I don't know, the words today are not coming. But when I woke up, priming the pump, thank you. Warming the kettle item. So I have a little prayer request for my kitty cat who's 12 years old with kidney disease, and she's starting to show signs of like next level. And I was like praying about her and like easing the transition. And I go out in the field on my walk this morning, and it was full. I mean, full of dragonflies, like just everywhere. And I'm just sitting here, and at certain points they're glistening in the sun, and it looks like there's little fairies riding them. And I'm just like, okay, everything is gonna be okay. Transitions happen, and may they just ease into it and love her while she's here, as she's one of my longest relationships. So, so there's that. Who else has got something to celebrate? I know Paul does, because we talked about it. You want to just shout it out, or you want to come up
I
here?
can celebrate up there.
Okay, come on up here, Paul, and celebrate. We are flexible around here.
I'm gonna prime the kettle.
Prime the kettle.
Stevie, among other things, the dragonfly represents having wisdom and resilience to adapt to change.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, my celebration was last Monday night. We had our intuition on the patio, actually it was inside.
Yeah.
There were mosquitoes and rain outside, so we very resiliently
Yes.
made a change and came inside the community room. We'll probably do that again, it's gonna be hot, mosquito-y tomorrow night, but we had a great group. We really dived into the energy of practical intuition and not just having it happen to us, but having it be us. We are intuition, so we practice techniques to help us invoke that, bring it out more, so that it becomes a proactive tool to help us navigate our lives with a great inner GPS. So this week, tomorrow night, 6:30, 7:30, somewhere in here, the patio there or the patio there, we're going to do healing on the patio. There's gonna be a little less talk on this one because we want to just do as much as we can in an hour to uplift and restore our life forces, which is what my mentor said healing is really all about. It's not about fixing something, it's about being something. So we're gonna do some techniques tomorrow, no matter where you are in healing, no matter what you do, have an opportunity to fellowship and be a part of things and walk away feeling uplifted.
Will you take the mic back to Linda?
Yes, yes. More celebration.
I went last Monday and I highly recommend if you have an hour tomorrow that you come, because there were people there that didn't even know they had intuition and they were amazing. And they left feeling really good. So I highly recommend that you take the opportunity, 1 hour out of your life, it's worth it.
And I would like to celebrate everyone's intuition, because we all have it. It's just some of us that haven't practiced using it.
So you know that Linda is my very, very best friend, and those of you who know her or have seen her, I mean, you know we're dealing with stage 4 cancer. And apparently, like so many things, there is a color associated with it, and that color is teal. So one of the first pictures I got was her toenails are now teal colored. The other thing is that she had already been told that, you know, the chemo starts this week and she will probably lose her hair. And we all know this hair can be so many different colors when she walks in this room. She had it cut, not totally short, but she had it cut for the first time, and I have no idea how long. Her hair is now orange with teal stripes. She is, of course, in pain, and she needs all the healing energy we can send her. but I just want you all to know that she is still our Linda, and she's not gonna change any of that.
Yes.
So keep her in your thoughts and prayers.
Yes. Thank you for sharing that. Linda is Linda Laird we're talking about is an amazing testament to adapting to change
Yes.
and having joy despite whatever circumstance. So yes, and also in the newsletter this week, there's a Caring Bridge link. And her sister has also said that I can give you her number. And if you have photos of like good times, those things are uplifting to her and the family. So you can send her sister those photos and she'll post those on Caring Bridge. So I've sent some and yeah. There's something to celebrate, but the end of things helps us remember how much we cherish every moment. Other celebrations? Go ahead.
I got a house.
You got a house! Yay! Congratulations! Good for you. That's wonderful. Okay, any others? Yes. Oh, sorry.
It's okay. I just want to say, like, we have such an amazing community here.
Yes.
And I had the pleasure yesterday of spending a lot of time with many people in this room today. And it was very uplifting for me and for them.
Yes.
And the solidarity of this community is amazing. And I just wanted to talk about that.
Yay! And that's what it's all about. I mean, we meet here together, but what our real work is who we are. And
Yes.
being who we are more and more. All right, so other announcements. It was announced in the newsletter and just FYI, well, if you go to our website, there's a block that now says links and updates. It is a picture of a blue sky and the sun, and it has information on how to initiate movement on things here. So it has the Unity cell phone number, the email address, and you can also drop suggestions back in the prayer box if you want to write them down and put them in there. If you have a specific request of something that you either want to bring into being or would like to see done differently, we want to serve. We want to be that radiating light of positivity out in the world. So, yes, Lynn.
Can I add, we were collecting medicine, prescription bottles.
Oh, yes, I forgot to put that in the newsletter. Yes.
We were collecting them and the person who took them in the pharmacy didn't want them anymore. But because my son has 2 cancers, I have like 10 or 12 a month. And I had them in the back of my car when I took fabric to the lady who.
So we're gonna start collecting the medicine bottles again.
And get there for animal rescue league.
Yeah.
They take big containers and divide them.
Yeah, so we have a new home, so those don't go to waste, and if you have those, we're gonna have a basket or a box somewhere in the community room area. And Linda so graciously is gonna deliver those for us. Yes, Dad?
Make sure you take off information.
Oh, yes, and when you donate them, they need to just be the orange and the cap, no name or medicine information in those.
I can take it off if you don't want to.
Linda's got your back if you forget. But yeah, good reminder, good practice.
Hey, Stevie, I
Yes.
have something I just thought of,
Okay.
and it has to do with music. We're gonna be doing one of the songs we pulled out of our music vault, that we shared a couple of years ago, which I had introduced because it was when I grew up. But if you have a favorite song that just uplifts you, and it could be an old song, it could be one of those classics, it could be one of the newer songs that are coming through, those old souls and songwriters there out there in the world. We're gonna collect the songs that we've used here in Unity in one source. So it can be a source for us to share, not only on Sundays, but like we do our celebrations of spirit, if we have a singing circle, which we've talked about revamping again. And if you're gonna be a speaker, you want to say, you know what song might fit what I want to talk about? Because that's the magic of this place too, is the music aligns with the message.
Yeah.
So I'm helping collect that, so just come up and say, hey, I think I've got a song and I can, we've got it listed up there. I think you.
In the newsletter, it came up during, which is a nice segue into topics. So one of the suggestions or things that I was getting from feedback in the community is wanting more together time, wanting more conversation and connection time. So it's just kind of evolved that we're having a potluck every month. So the next one is September 14th. So we'll come together and then afterwards, we'll have a conversation and I'm in full disclosure, learning from every single one, how to make them more streamlined, how to serve everybody. So this next one, I'll have a little bit more, not formal, but there'll be a little bit of an agenda to have certain people that are going to talk about certain things and then a free conversation after. So everybody can weigh in and keep in mind those ways to suggest the box, cell phone, email. You want to hear your specific ideas. And put on the calendar September 14th. We mentioned tomorrow night, healing on the patio, and then we have some special events coming up soon. Next Sunday, August 24th at 4:30 p.m. will be a cacao ceremony circle with Deb Jennings. And then at 6:30 p.m. will be the new moon gong meditation. The August 28th Aura Breathwork is already sold out. So we are thrilled that Deval is here. She has some business cards in the atrium. Stay tuned watching the calendar. She's from India. She is certified, very well educated, and very informative. And she keeps the class small so she can give the one-on-one instruction. So keep your eye out. She's going to be doing more, but the August 28th one is already sold out. Tuesday, August 19th is the singing bowl class with Deb Jennings. That's going to be here at the sanctuary from 6:30 to 8:30. And then we have a mindset coach led She Recovers meeting. And She Recovers is a trademark that's they're meeting nationally. There's a certain curriculum specifically targeted to help women overcome challenges in relationships and other aspects. And it's just I haven't been to one, but it's starting and we're hosting it. And that's on September 8th. And then just as a priming the pump, warming the kettle, in November is going to be our annual meeting. So that's a more formal, like here's how things went for the last year. Here's what we're looking to do in the following year, and getting people to actually officially vote on things. That annual meeting is going to be the second Sunday in November. So the conversations that we're having, everybody's opinion matters and we want to serve, but that annual meeting is important in the official, like weighing in, cast your vote kind of situation. All of our regular events are on the calendar. If you're not getting the newsletter and you want it, there are forms. There's actually a sign-up sheet on that little table in the back, and then there's forms out in the entryway where you can give me your information and let me know if you want to hear from me, and if you want the newsletter, and if you have any suggestions or prayer requests. Those are all out there in the atrium, and drop them in that prayer box and we'll get you added. Is there anything else that I either didn't know or forgot? Okay, great.
Oh, we got a couple things here.
All right, what's that?
Stan. My name is Penny Brocklesby and I'm the contact for Course in Miracles.
Oh, Penny, you have a face.
I have a face. I
Wow.
have been online for quite a while now, and Wayne is such a wonderful ambassador for A Course in Miracles, so I thought it was probably time to show my face. So with that being said, if you have any interest at all, you're welcome to join our email list. If it doesn't work out for you, at least you know what we're studying at the time, and we're all on Zoom. And so I just welcome you to join us.
Can you say your name again?
Penny Brocklesby.
And you're
In the newsletter, your information is there and you're on the selection of regular events. So,
Yes,
of Course in Miracles, if you didn't hear that.
thank you, everyone.
Oh, thank you for mentioning that. So when I say, are there any other announcements that I either forgot or didn't know about? It was very quick at the end of the last potluck, but Vivian Woodson, who is very well read and has a lot of experience in studying unity principles and other things metaphysical, is going to be offering an intro to Unity class starting mid-September. I think it's the week after the potluck. So the 14th is the potluck, and the week after, she's gonna start a 3-week series just right after the service on the intro to Unity, formerly known as new membership class. But we're just calling it intro to Unity, and then she'll be putting together some other classes on like introduction to the 12 powers and some other things where if you want to learn more information and really dig deeper, she's also got a pretty extensive resource list on books you can read and things you can study. So that is coming. She's not here today because she's taking some R&R, but no, that's coming up. And more to come on that. Let's do our statement of faith, which I tried to do in the beginning. Up on the screen, if we can say this all together. There is only one power active in my life and in the universe, the divine source of all life and love. Next, the unity affirmation. And as we say this together, if you could really feel the oneness that connects us all. Unity of divine is a radiating center of the divine light, mighty to attract its good and to radiate good to others. And with this spirit of oneness, I have a list of people who have asked to be lifted up in prayer for peace and love and healing. Whatever body position you wish to take to settle into your chair and send these people love and light as I read these names. Linda Laird, Karen Sue, Denny, Devin, Michelle, Trinity, Brittany, Mike, Steve, Beverly, Scott, Kim, Misha, Amy, Amanda, Ryan, Dylan, Christina, Paul, Kim, Lou, Amy, Tom, Karen, Celine, Jenny, Lindsay, Denise, Katie, Rob, Marty, Matt, Jerry, Jessica, Eric, Janine, Angie, Jody, Paul and Phyllis, Christina, Seal, and people with struggles we know nothing about. And moving into our time of meditation, relax into the seat that you are in and let it fully support you. Intending for any stress, anxiety, anything that's not serving you any longer to be released as you let the body relax into that chair. Connect with source and earth energy in your heart to be guided by those energies. And then bring your awareness to your breath. Following the breath in and out of the body and feeling gratitude for your breath. Then taking an intentional breath of peace, calm, and relaxation. And letting anything unlike those qualities go on the out breath. And just by doing that, you have brought your attention into the present moment and connected with it. When we come into this moment, we're not worrying about the future or feeling bad about something that's happened in the past. We are here and now. And so anytime throughout your day that you need to connect with that present moment, just bring your awareness to the breath. And let's take a few breaths together, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose and out through the mouth. One more. In through the nose and out through the mouth. when we choose to live our life in alignment with this present moment, that's when all the miracles can flow. So let's take some time together in the silence and just notice our breath in the silence. And just by taking that short amount of time, we bring ourselves into balance, into alignment, to feeling centered and grounded. And you can choose to do this anytime throughout the day or the evening, when you might have difficulty sleeping. It doesn't have to be a long meditation practice. You can break it up into manageable segments. And just breathe and come into that alignment with the present moment. Now bring yourself fully back, fully aware, remaining open to any guidance you may receive throughout the rest of the day and the dream time tonight. And enjoy each and every moment. The daily word. The daily word for today is taken from Psalms chapter 16, verses 7 and 8, which says, I bless the Lord who gives me counsel. In the night also my heart instructs me. I keep the Lord always before me, because he is my right hand, and I shall not be moved. When I need to make a difficult decision, I can get stuck feeling afraid of making the wrong choice or doing the wrong thing. I need not panic when this happens, because I take it as a signal to seek divine guidance in prayer. No dilemma, question, or choice is too complicated for the infinite wisdom of the divine within me. I am patient and I wait for my inner guidance. I may see a meaningful sign, have a dream, or even get a gut feeling. However, I receive my guidance. However, I receive my guidance, I recognize it is divinely inspired. My guidance blesses me. I receive it with gratitude and act upon it with confidence. The affirmation that goes along with this, I'll say it once and then if we can all say it together, is this. With faith in God within, I trust divine guidance. With faith in God within, I trust divine guidance. Speaking of divine guidance, here is an original song that Susan's going to sing for us, and we can sing along.
Put it in.
Tessie.
It's on. It's on.
It's on.
Yeah.
Okay, good. This was a group song. It's called Love Every Moment, and it was created by spiritual soul searchers just like us back, I don't know how many years. I learned it when I was at the retreat. I just thought it fit. And Deb is the one that remembered it from a couple of years ago. And it's got a message that I think just is right in alignment with today. So the first part is something, it's a chorus. So I'll be singing it. You'll learn it real quick. Even if you just want to listen and come along with the verses in between. Love every moment, love every moment. Love every moment of the day. All we have is now, so don't you waste it. Just love every moment of the day. You have no past, you have no future. All you really have is now. So don't you waste it on life happiness. Just turn all your thoughts into love. And love every moment. Love every moment. Love every moment of the day. All you have is now. So don't you waste it. Just love every moment of the day. Sometimes it's hard to love every moment, but remember this. Things seem to change depending how you see them. So turn all your thoughts into love and love every moment. Love every moment. Love every moment of the day. All you have is now, so don't you waste it. Just love every moment of the day. Just love every moment of the day. Yay, thank you so much for sharing that with us, Susan. And the incredible Dennis and Doug, who just know how to play along. So, thank you so much for all of that. And now, without further ado, it is my pleasure to welcome our dear Michael Kolbeck to the podium. Yes, big round of applause. Who is going to be speaking about living a life at the moment of now. Let's welcome Michael.
I'm still on the notes back.
I enjoyed that 30 seconds.
I'm sure I looked under there and I was like, I know I'm losing my mind this morning a little bit. I left my phone in the car, which is something I never did. I got over here and just looked at the airplane mode and was like, where's my phone at? And then I went to reach for my notes and I'm like, where's my notes at? The ironic thing about that is I'm not sure how much I'll actually use these notes today.
Yay!
So. That was a good song. That was a good song that we just did. And so I had an idea before we did that song. And I think we're going to come back to that idea in a few moments. So today we're talking about living aligned in the moment of now. Right? Everything happens in the moment of now. That is all there is. That's all that actually exists. We can spend a lot of time thinking about the past. We can spend a lot of time thinking about the future. None of that's bad per se. But everything stems from this moment of now. And so as we start talking about this today, I just want you to take a couple of breaths and give yourself permission to be right here, right now, in this. Take a nice deep breath in. And exhale at your own pace. And even say the words to yourself. I give myself permission to be fully present in this moment of now. To be fully present to the version of myself that I am right now. So a couple of weeks ago, I was driving along and driving along in my car, and the song, let's see, Why Can't This Be Love? By Dan Cameron came on. right? And immediately I was taken back to, I'm not doing anything but driving my car. Immediately I hear that song and I'm all of a sudden back in, I was like 15 years old, and 14 or 15, and a couple of my friends were over and we're skateboarding in the driveway, and we had the boombox on and we're listening to Van Halen. And we're listening to this album. And I found it interesting that just in a split second like that, I'm taken back there. And as I looked at that, I was like, that is just fascinating. How quickly we can be in the present moment right here, and how quickly we can go, I don't know, how many years ago was that now, 40? I think like 40 years, hurts a little bit.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, 40 years back, and everything, I could like smell the air, I could feel what it felt like to be in that driveway, to be doing the skateboarding with my friends and listening to this good music. And it sort of hit me that in this particular instance, I was smiling because I'm like, oh, that was a good time. That was great.
Yeah.
But in some instances, when our attention is drawn back to the past, the experiences were not so great. And it got me thinking. It's the same thing I do when I put on, I'm listening to the radio when I'm driving and listening to Sirius XM or something, and they'll have like, oh gosh, what station is it? The station 10, the 2000s is what they'll play, and they'll play music from the 2000s. And anytime I listen to that station, I'm taken back to raising my kids. Taking my kids to school and doing all the things, right? Jamming out on the way to school and like, Dad, don't embarrass me. And all that good stuff, And as I thought about that a little bit more, I thought, wow, this is interesting how I have something as simple as music can take me back to these time periods of my life. And then I think about my age during those times. I'm like with the Van Halen story, I'm 15 years old, right? In the 2000s, I'm like young 30s, mid 30s, doing the family thing. And I got to thinking, those are different versions of myself. How fascinating is it that I can go back and revisit those versions of myself anytime I want to? And then I got to thinking, how interesting is it that those versions of self still show up in my current life? And still show up in ways that are unexpected at times. I spoke previously on what is your why? And it was understanding what is it that is driving you to do certain things, to make certain decisions, to take certain actions. And is it coming from a place that's clean? Is it coming from a place that is pure? Or is it being driven by some unconscious or subconscious need that is there, that you may not be fully aware of? You generally only become aware of it if a pattern starts showing up, or if you're paying attention, if you're in the mindset of just kind of noticing, going, I want to do this, but I feel a little bit of resistance here. What is that resistance? What is that feeling that's there? And then diving into that. This talk, for whatever reason, seems to be very similar to that. It asks the question, are you allowing yourself to live as yourself from the version of you that you are right now in this moment? Because let's face it, no matter how much I sometimes want to be that 15-year-old version of Michael, which went by Mike, there's no going back. There's no doing anything over there in that regard. But that 15-year-old version of Mike may still be showing up in my current life in different ways, wanting to be seen, wanting to be acknowledged, wanting to be heard in some way. And will keep showing up until somebody pays that part of self, that version of self, the attention that they're looking for. As I look back at this stuff, I think, wow, it's amazing because if I think of 15-year-old Mike or 20-year-old Mike or 30-year-old, 40-year-old, they're all different versions of me. They've all had different experiences. Every day, every moment, new experiences, whether we label them good or bad or whatever, they're experiences. And every one of those things is either reinforcing some beliefs that you may have about yourself, or it's bringing you something new. And with something new, you can get clarity on seeing something that you couldn't see before, that you didn't understand before. And I know that at least from a male perspective, there's a lot of stuff out there that's still like, comes up where you should still be 20. I'm sure it's the same thing for women.
Yeah.
Maybe in different ways, in different facets. But it's all that thing of, oh, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, right? And sure, everybody wants to feel like that. Everybody wants to feel what it felt like back then. We had so much energy. We didn't have a lot of wisdom, right? Wisdom comes from those experiences, and it only comes from introspection or sitting with or meditating on what is showing up in your life, because there are people who are elderly people and they are not wise because they have not done the inner work that's needed to look at what do all of these experiences tell me and teach me about myself. Fact is, I love those older versions of self. I look at those, even the ones that completely, like, when you look back at it, it feels like, man, you screwed some stuff up.
Yeah.
And it was like, what were you thinking? And yet it's hard for me to even say that now, because it's like, that's the version of self that was doing the best that they could at that time, based off of what they knew at that time. And I know my previous versions of self had this inkling like, man, something is not right. What is it? And so I kept trying to find it through all the various ways that we do that. And I kept looking and kept looking. I'll try this. Well, I'm going to do this over here, you know, and end up getting into a marriage that, you know, my being was telling me, this isn't a good idea. In both cases, in both of the times. And yet I just didn't have a strong enough sense of self, strong enough boundaries or anything like that to actually make decisions and take actions based on that deeper knowing, based on that felt sense. And so I chose in, and even when things were going further south and further south and further south, and I'll admit, I was part of that dynamic. It took me to be a part of that. And what I find myself looking back on and going is like, I used to be angry at those previous versions. I was just like, it's hard for me not to curse up here today. Very much like, yeah, you know, I could really feel it like, boy, they really messed some stuff up. And especially when I was first out starting my healing journey, there was so much anger that hadn't been processed. So much stuff that had just been repressed and pushed down and not dealt with. And all of that was coming out. All of that was finally getting to have a voice. And those previous versions of self, boy, I was not real kind to them during that period. I was yelling and screaming at them, look what you've done to my life. You've completely screwed up my life and everything. And how did I ever get to this place and get to this position that I'm in right now? And yet, I've come far enough now to where I look back at those different versions of self. And I could look back on those versions and smile and say, man, dude, you were pretty awesome. You did not do some things, I don't even want to use the word correctly, but another word is not coming to mind right now. Created a lot of suffering.
Yeah.
That's a good way of putting it. Not having the strength to actually stand on my own and stand in the version of myself that I was at the time, knowing that there was something deeper. I didn't trust that part of stuff. I was continually searching for an answer, but I did not trust a lot of things really. I didn't trust God. For some reason, I trusted that another person, as long as I treated them well, that the other person would treat me well. That wasn't necessarily the case. And
Yes, correct.
the irony is I was continually seeking something out there.
Yeah.
Trying to get that validation, trying to get that sense of worthiness. I never had any issues with things like drugs or alcohol or things like that for whatever reason. It's never appealed to me, But I had plenty of issues when it came to interpersonal, let's say romantic relationships is the best way to put it. I could have boundaries in other aspects and areas of my life that were pretty good, and I could work, be trying to tell me to do something, and it's like really stupid or whatever. I'm probably gonna be a little obstinate about it. May not even do it because you're wrong. Yeah, it's dumb. Right.
Yeah.
And I was having a conversation with my mother the other day, and I don't remember what we were talking about. But I said, I was bringing up an example, and she laughs and she said, "Yeah, you were always like that." And I said, "Really?" She said, "Oh my gosh, I said when you were a little kid, or especially when you were a teenager," she said, "you didn't want to do something, you weren't going to do something. And it didn't matter who it was trying to call you out on it. You were just like, what are you going to do about it?" And it wasn't that I would ever necessarily say those words, but it was the attitude of, "Oh yeah, I'm trying to make me." And so there was this very obstinate, stubborn attitude that was there, and we laughed about it, And that is part of a version of self of me that still exists.
Yeah.
And it's not a bad thing, right? You can look at it as it's either obstinate, stubborn, and we shouldn't be that way, or is it just determination and knowing, I know what I want. I know that you think you can have power over me in some certain way, but yeah, that's not going to happen. That's a good thing, right? It's recognizing a deeper aspect of yourself. It's recognizing your sovereignty. It's recognizing that you are an empowered being. Back then, I didn't understand any of that. And I'm sure some people look at it and, wow, you can. I actually can't finish the sentence because I can't think of any other words, but words that. So, why do I bring this all up? A few years ago, when I was speaking up here, I spoke about when I got out on my own and I started really doing the awakening journey and the healing journey because everything was blowing apart in my life. I talked about the fact that I wrote on the wall, took a big sheet of paper, put it on the wall, and was like, "What does Michael want?" Which was such a weird question to ask myself because it was actually asking what Michael wanted, and Michael really never factored into anything before.
Yeah.
I was, highly codependent, people pleaser, this and that. And so looking at that list, it was very difficult to do. And for a while, that list remained blank. But each day I went in there and I would stand there, and then finally some stuff started coming out, started writing stuff down. And then as time went on, and I kept working with the list, what does Michael want? I started crossing things off the list because I'm like, wait a minute, I could finally start seeing clearly, that's not me. And I could actually name the people of who that related to. Oh, that's their thing. I was starting to sort out like what's mine and what's theirs. I had never really had the ability to do that before. I didn't know that was actually a necessary thing. And so when I had this moment a couple of weeks ago, and I was thinking about the younger versions of stuff, and I was thinking about how my relationship with those younger versions of myself has changed over the past 8 years or so as I've been on this healing journey. I got the sheet of paper out again and wrote on the wall, what does the 54-year-old version of Michael want? Because the irony of it is, a few years back when I had gone through, of course, I was in the healing journey. Then I got the cancer diagnosis and did all this fun stuff with cancer. And I definitely had some things in mind at that time. That's like, all right, first of all, I'm gonna make it through this. Second of all, I'm going to then finally rebuild my life in a way that's very conscious, and I'm gonna eradicate all my debt and all the medical debt. And I'm going to save up some money. I'm actually going to create a home for once, rather than just, I try to create a home atmosphere throughout my life, but things never really felt like a home. And the times when I was on my own, those places had really been more like survival cocoons. So I had very distinct things, and I talked about that before, that I wanted. And it's interesting because I think all of this, when that ambulance talk came on and took me back, and I started going down this line of processing and thinking, I thought, well, isn't that interesting? Because 54-year-old version of Michael, I'm not sure what he wants right now. I have accomplished all of the things that I set out, that I was found determined to do in order to rebuild my life and to get my life back. And so there's that moment of, okay, now what? I also had some experiences this past year where let's see. I've mentioned previous that there's a lot that we are fed every single day, which is why it's important to be careful what you're taking in and consuming all the time. Whether it's food or whether it's social media, whatever it is. There's a lot out there that constantly pushes this narrative of the way that you should be, the way that you're supposed to be. From the male side of things, there's a lot in terms of sexuality. You know, you're still a 20-year-old, you know, and there's a lot in terms of your physical look and appearance too, as well as are you still able to do the things that you did back then? And if not, you need to get to the gym, you need to do all of these things, right? In order to be that person, because otherwise there's this message that says the underlying current behind the message is that you're deficient in some way if you're not this. And I started thinking of that, and I started thinking, where is this showing up in my life right now? And I had a couple of experiences in the past year where there was a much healthier dynamic with the individual that I was having these experiences with. And we also had some conversations after these experiences, conversations about things I've never been able to talk with another individual about before. And I realized, as in terms of having these experiences and having follow-up conversations to these experiences, I realized, oh wow, there's previous versions of Michael here that could never get certain things, and for some reason felt like if I do X, Y, or Z, then that will make me feel fulfilled, make me feel worthy, make me feel valuable in that moment. The irony of that is, though, even if those things happen, it only made me feel valuable in that moment. And then it faded. And then the cycle wanted to repeat. And so I began looking at that, began saying, what areas of my life, when I look at things from a physical perspective, what parts of me are showing up? What versions of me are showing up? What are the messages they are telling me? When I think about my finances, what's coming up there? When I think about physical intimacy with another, or with yourself, what's coming up there? All of these different things. And I started looking at them, started piecing out, oh, this piece, well, I've been carrying this piece for a long time. This piece comes from 20-year-old version of stuff that carried over into 30s, that carried over into 40s. And then it went dormant for a while, and then it popped back up when certain experiences presented themselves. And so I took the time then to look at these different versions and say, what is it that you need? And just sit and just listen to these versions of self. At the beginning of my healing journey, I tried to kill those versions of self because they were the problem. And there was like an inner voice. I was freaking out one time, and there was this inner voice that was like, stop, you can't do this, that you can't do that to your inner child. Your inner child needs you and is here for you as well. And it was as though my higher self was kind of stepping into the process there and giving me some guidance through that. And through these number of years, these past 8 years or so, I've had the ability to reestablish relationships with these different versions of self. Some of those versions of self, I just had to let them go. Just had to say, I'm sorry, you never get what you need. And then just let them be. Other versions of myself, I listened to them and it felt more like they had something, what's the right word for this? So, all of these parts of self are valuable. That's the first thing I remember. All these parts of self are valuable. There's no need to get rid of any of them. They also do not need to necessarily be in the driver's seat. Even without being in the driver's seat, they are still valuable. They are still a part of you that once was. They did whatever they needed to do in that moment to meet whatever need that you had in that moment. None of it is bad. These versions of self, these parts of self are not bad. And so I learned to reestablish a relationship with them and to bring them in and to integrate them and to allow them, hey, if you want to come here and sit at the table with me with all these other versions of self, great. But if you just want to go out and run around and do whatever you want to do, great. Go do that too. I'm not going to force you to sit here at this table. You're still a part of me either way. But it comes back to the point of who is actually running things, who is actually driving things. Am I being driven in certain areas of my life by 30-year-old Michael? And trying to somehow get resolution to something now that I couldn't get back then. And so I think it's important when we're working with our parts of self like this, with these versions of self, that, that we give permission to ourselves to accept ourselves where we are right now. I want to stand up sometime and say, like, God damn it, I'm 54 years old. That doesn't mean that I'm at death's door or anything, but I'm not 15 either. And it's fine to have that acknowledgement and to say, I'm 54, this is who I am right now, this is me in the moment of now, this is the version that exists. We worry so much about what other people think about us, right? And the irony in that is everybody, every single person in here that's looking at me right now has a different version of me that they know.
Yeah.
No two people out there interpret Michael in the same way.
Correct.
Will there be some common characteristics? Sure. That what each of us takes in when you're listening to somebody like me, the information that I'm relaying, that I'm expressing, has to go through all of your filters, all of your belief systems. And so then that changes what I may be expressing, and you take from that what you need. We worry so much about what people think, and the reality is everybody has a different version of you. And the way that I think people see me is not the way that they actually see me either.
Amen.
And it's very freeing. It's very freeing if you can come to a place where you go, oh, I'm only responsible for this version of myself right now.
Yep.
And I don't have to be anything for anybody else, nor do I have to be anything different to try to meet the needs of previous versions of myself. I can just give grace to myself now and know, like, I'm just going to be in this moment right here, be this version of myself. And that is not a rejection of the previous version. It's giving grace to them as well, saying, thank you guys for showing up and going through the stuff that you did and doing the best that you could do with everything that was handed to you and with everything that you helped create. Because without all of those previous versions, we wouldn't be where we're at today. That's the simple thing, right? We had to make certain decisions and certain actions back then for reasons. And all of those things have value. Funny thing is, I haven't even hardly looked at my notes up here today. I glanced at them a couple of times. Most of what I talked about today, maybe in there somewhere, but a lot of it's actually not in here. The thing I really had to come to was, is it safe for Michael, 54-year-old version of Michael on this day in this moment, to, is it safe for me to be that version? Right? This all goes back to shining your light. Is it safe for me to shine my light? If it doesn't feel safe, then wrong. There's probably something within that you may not be listening to, or that you have something that you perceive about the way others see you. Just giving ourselves the grace to live from that empowered place, because there's no power in the past, not even any power in the future. We are only empowered in the moment of now. With this version of self that we have right now. And the beautiful thing is, when you can look back and you can accept all the previous versions of yourself, there were things I used to try to hide. I got out, I made some terrible, like what I would call, I don't want to phrase that now. You know, when you realize words have power and you think about what words you really want to say.
Yeah.
So, let's just say I had made some decisions back, I don't know, 8 or 9 years ago that in that time, it's exactly what I needed. And after I made those decisions, and started getting some healing in my life, I was actually mortified. Some of those things that decisions that I had done and actions that I had taken. And then I started closing that off and started shutting that down. Oh my God, you never know about these things, you know, because they do, oh, they're going to see me, etc., whatever. And then I finally got to the point where I was like, I had some conversations with some close friends just to see what would happen if I expressed this terrible secret that I was that's the way I was internalizing it. What's going to happen? And the ironic thing is, the close people that I shared it with, they didn't bat an eye. They didn't see me any differently. You know, those were all shame issues coming from myself, coming from previous versions of myself that were still cropping up, wanting to be seen, wanting to be acknowledged, wanting to be dealt with in a graceful way. And so I bring up those things, I bring up those experiences just to say, like, do the wonderful inner work that awaits you each day. And it doesn't mean it has to become a thing that you add to your list of things to do. But you know when it's calling you, you know when something is calling you to sit down and have some introspection and look within. Because there may be previous versions of self that are knocking at your door, saying, hey, can I be heard and seen in this right now? So that we can resolve whatever is there in that. I had to have the experiences of sharing some of these things with other people that mortified me, because once I was reflected back, that's like, okay, that's not really a big deal. It allowed me then to re-engage with myself, how I see myself, and to let go of that piece of shame, and to finally reach a point where I'm like, somebody has an issue with something that I did in the past, I can't undo it.
Right.
And if they want to look at me differently for it, they want to judge me for it, they have certain negative thoughts about me for it, that's okay. That's their work to deal with. I talked about in the little synopsis that was written up about what we're talking about today was, are you living from the present moment of now, in the current moment of now? Or are you kind of living from ghosts of the past, is what I call it. Those versions of self that never felt fully seen. And then encouraging you to take a moment to sit with those versions of self, so that they don't have to be ghosts anymore, right? So that they can feel as though they are valued, that they are worthy, that they are seen, heard, and acknowledged. And then you get to integrate that into the wholeness of your being. As you are all whole, you are all beautiful.
Yay.
Sometimes it just doesn't feel like it. Right? But the truth is, we are all whole. We are all perfectly imperfect. So I encourage you as you go out today, just to give yourself some grace and live fully. Allow yourself to live in the fullness of the version that you are now.
Thank you. All right, and now, if you would like to share your resources with the community of Des Moines and help us keep this building open and all the wonderful things that are able to be hosted here, now is your opportunity to do so. And whether your contributions are at the financial, physical, energetic, or spiritual level, we want to offer this affirmation together. I am infinitely abundant, divine love through me, blessed and multiplied, all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I thankfully acknowledge the divine source.
This is a little song with 3 verses. The future, the past, and the present. It's about our slow watching thing. Too much worry about tomorrow.
takes the fun out of today. In a script that's full of sorrow, not one needed in this play. Every moment is important, not to waste on the heated ground. We might navigate or just gravitate, but we'll only be here now. History is good for learning. Just be certain that it's true. Many bridges are burning. We step back sometimes, we do. Every moment is important. You have to let them weigh it down. We might navigate or just gravitate, but we'll always be here now. Welcome to this very moment. We have never left this place. Space and time seem out of focus. Brings a smile upon your face. It's important to remember, and just as crucial to forget. We made it here somehow, to this place called now, and we can leave with no regrets.
Yay! All right, I would like to dedicate this offering to do the work of spirit and truth to the people of Unity of Des Moines, and we are grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you, everyone. I'd like to invite everyone to stand up now and follow along as Deb Jennings guides us through the hand motions and words in universal reading of peace.
Before I do that, I just want to say thank you again to Dennis. He wrote that song, you guys. I offer you peace.
I offer you peace.
I offer you love.
I offer you love.
I offer you friendship.
I offer you friendship.
I see your beauty.
I see your beauty.
Hear your needs.
I hear your needs.
I feel your feelings.
I feel your feelings.
My wisdom flows from the higher source.
My wisdom flows from the higher source.
I salute that source in you.
And I salute that source in you.
Let us work together for unity and love.
Let us work together for unity and love.
Oh my goodness, Dennis, I didn't know you wrote that. I loved it. Thank you. All right, I'd like to invite everyone now to create a great big circle around the room. We usually hold hands, but if you don't want to hold hands, you can just put your hands over your heart. We will sing the closing song, and then afterwards, we've got treats in the back or in the community room. There'll be healing hands and free hugs in the back, and then I'll need a little bit of help with chairs. But let's sing our song. The light of the divine surrounds us. The love of the divine enfolds us. The power of the divine protects us. The presence of the divine watches over us. Wherever we are, the divine is, and all is well. Thank you, everyone. Yay! I have 2 rows of 6 chairs in the back to prep for Tuesday evening invitation, and then all the other chairs along the wall, a little bit away from the register, not stacked, but all fit. Thank you, everyone. I hope to see you next week. Because I'll do it. So yeah. I think it's off, but I can't tell. Is it my turn? I'm so sure. Yeah, it's like it's like. Thank you so much. That's fun. Just to get along the side and. It's so you know, how process that, you know, after all these memories come up, you know, and someday, you know, all of us like, oh, God, it's been right in my class, you know, let alone, but you're never about me, yeah. So it's just been, yes, exercise. Oh, thank you, Jim. They asked for a little bio. It's good sound. And I started it out and said, Laura, we'll do it. I'm going to sit you up there with you. You're teaching. Okay. So you want a day off? You can have it. Yeah, it's good. You know, I'm here and it's tired. It's I feel nobody grabbed it. Well, you know, especially after 15 years, we're all retired. You know, what are you doing now? Yeah. You know, and so it was also timely and taking so many so it's so very nice. Yeah. And the parts of yourself is just such a thing to learn about yourself in a good way.
You know, it simplifies things. Just look at it. They're all reasons of parts of ourselves and, you know, they mad at us and we mad at them and let's make some peace on the inside, you know? Because, yeah, I could. And another thing that I learned about recently is that.
Yeah.
When asked to share top 10 of my priorities, I tend to have one.
I couldn't find them.
See, it can be a little-
Okay, I didn't know, because in the garden, it's in there.
But in the garden, well,
Yeah.
there's a lot of that. If you ask somebody.
Forget about that. Play that for just
They were
one
able to
person.
say, good.
That's what we said.
And so I don't know.
So I, oh,
Depressed people.
so I did get your sugar, did send that to you?
Let me see if I can
Out
find
of
it.
black.
A book from another treasure.
Oh, okay.
Let me see if it's a homeless.
Okay.
Some of it I looked to
In there too. It just like,
It's in the garden, that song is my grandmother's favorite song.
if, you know, if somebody has things like that, it'd be like, well, this disaster and then that disaster, and I dug myself out of this hole and trying to change what I had to, you know, okay. In this version of myself. Somebody gives us, you know, another thing that came up for me.
Unless that's nice.
Yeah.
Mm.
Trying to sing it. And see how, yeah. I think I can't, I'm not sure how the first goes.
Now I can laugh about it, oh, we have to shoot it for you. You want.
Let me check if we've got a month yet.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, I'll get to you, so I. Get. Yeah, oh, yeah. Oh, just let me know.
Okay.
Thanks, Dad.
What is your topic?
I think the greatest story ever told is the hidden one's not.
Say you killed it.
Oh.
Yeah. You know, and it's. That's a fact, and yeah.
Hey, Deb.
This is how we know how to function in this moment, and then you look back, you're like, oh, I would have. But, you know, I stayed. I mean, whatever, looking back. But it
Well, you know, there's these other things, it's like, oh, you know, dead, you know.
So, yeah, it's. And
I know.
I was saying.
Really good at it.
I said, I think it's like. Yeah, I don't know if you remember, I said. Oh,
How long have you known for each other?
like 8 years.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
I said, you know, I was telling her, I said, I was looking at New York City.
Hey, Deb.
Yeah.
Does this stand?
That's Dennis's, he'll take care of it. The stand is probably yours, but he'll take care of his guitar.
Okay, sounds good.
There is a cover that can go on the back, although it should be.
Oh, you know, and so, that worked out, see, you know,
Yeah, I know.
you did something. You know.
Well, yeah, tell me about it. You know, and I'll just- there's after-
Oh, well,
And having to really, update all of those relationship stuff and about.
They are so open. When you started interacting with somebody again, and it's like, oh, that's.
You may have already read this book, Realize Something by Anita Morjan.
And.
Hey.
Sorry. No, you're fine. Taking everything.
She did. There's any book, yeah. Cause she's lost.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I tripped on that.
Oh.
Is it coming up? I'm glad that, oh, thank you.
Yeah.
We got-
Oh, thank you. I didn't, yes.
I'm a little in a state of shock, but thank God.